Do you want to be your own hero and step out in confidence with the Bathu range of sneakers? Well, Peter Ndoro has a sit down with the founder and CEO of Bathu Shoes, Theo Baloyi.
When I started, I just did not want to, build an African sneaker brand that people can proudly affiliate with. I wanted to be different. I wanted to be innovative. And talking about trends and lifestyle, when I started in 2015, there was a trend around colorful socks, mainly dominated by a brand called Happy Socks. And in my travels, I realized that, we actually don't have a happy shoe. And oftentimes when people are wearing, happy socks or colorful socks, we can only see them when they sit down and the trousers go up or they're wearing a short. I started thinking about how about that we build a shoe, that can show off your socks when you're wearing them, and a shoe that can, blow some air and have ventilation into, into your feet. And that's when I came up with the mesh edition concept that is made out of complete mesh material, So the idea was to be innovative, produce quality shoes that are built for comfort, and build the whole sneaker experience, yet communicating the brand story.
You were a consultant working for a premier accounting firm, and so you knew the business side of it, the theory, and you even advised on it.
Yeah.
It's a different thing when you actually now have to do it, especially when you're a pioneer. And I just wonder, what are some of the big lessons that you learned yourself in the last 5 years or so about being in business, and especially being a pioneer in a certain area?
Yeah, I think I learned a lot of things. Number one, I think, business teaches you to be patient and to be very strategic, but most importantly, to be intentional about your projects and really take into account, what's really happening across the globe. So because you need to get to a point whereby you really know how to build your business model, but not only that, be able to commercialize it, contribute to the bottom line, and create impact. And that's a big job to do for entrepreneurs. And I think that has been one of my biggest lessons, to say, now we're living in an era of social currency. How do I then become to build this brand that speaks to people in social currency, and then get to be able to go to the economics of my business and commercialize it, accrue profit, and then still create impact. So those dynamics of putting that business model together, because it's very, very difficult, and has been the biggest part of my lesson, to make sure that I come up with a business model that is going to create impact in my society.
Have you found yourself having conversations with yourself as the consultant Theo talking to the entrepreneur Theo? Because business often doesn't work out the way you plan, and then there are disruptions that come along the way. We've had an economy that's been, even before COVID, was starting to slide, and then COVID happened. What did the consultant Theo tell the entrepreneur Theo?
And that's a very good question. And to think of it, I think I've always had the, consultant Theo in me, because even when I started the business, the consultant Theo advised the entrepreneur Theo to do so and how to do it. To say, Theo, if you really want to penetrate this market, first and foremost, I'll help you do research and development and proof of concept and all of those things that are going to allow you to build this business. And the consultant Theo said to the entrepreneur that for the first 2 years of your business, don't open any brick and mortar stores. What you focus on is building your working capital that is going to allow you to invest into the growth of the business. So even now in times like this, I'm always, trying to understand what are the new trends, where the world is moving to, so that I can advise the entrepreneur Theo to make the right business decisions for the business.
And I suppose you have to anticipate trends because of the lead time in terms of design, manufacture, and actually getting them into the shops.
And then I think, with that being said, that's, I think, one thing that we as a country, we really need to look into, because manufacturing in South Africa, the craftsmanship in South Africa is not as great as compared to the East or other parts of the world. So we really need to factor that in, to say, how do we become competitive, in the world, by really helping, literally building I think returns or shorter times of returns in terms of manufacturing, the lead times, so that we can keep up to trends. Because now if the lead time is anything between 2 to 6 months, it might inconvenience, the retail business because if it's out of trend by the time it gets here, even the planning around it. But if we as a country invest in, the craftsmanship and the manufacturing in our own country, so that we don't have to wait for longer lead times and we can catch up to trends and be competitive.
How have you built the brand? Because you're getting into a world that belongs to Le Corps Sportif, Nike, Adidas, Puma, and now you come with this brand which nobody knows, and yet you have to create enough excitement and also over time create an association that people can relate to so that it becomes something admirable and wants to own. How do you go about that process?
So one of the findings that I've done or that I've gotten out of my research was around brand identity and brand promise. And with all those brands that you mentioned now, I realized that a lot of people are literally consuming them mainly because of a sense of style, not because of they really resonate with the brand story and the brand promise. So I went on to say, I'm going to build a different brand for Africa, a brand that is going to, accommodate and advocate for a strong African heritage and a strong, African story and success story, a story that a lot of Africans can resonate with and that can speak to heart. And then that's how I'm going to build brand, after product and so forth. So I think I've led with that to communicate a brand story, because our brand story speaks about we come from a room in Alex to a 3,700 square meter warehouse to employing 180 people to 16 retail stores. That's our journey. So our brand story says we want to build a shoe for everyone who's on a journey, and we want to accommodate them on their journey of greatness, a journey of unleashing your best potential, of achieving your dreams. We want to be a shoe of choice for you, because you don't put on a shoe unless you go somewhere, and that's our brand. So if you are on a journey of embarking on your dreams and unleashing your best potential, we want to be a sneaker of choice in that journey.
And putting up your own stores with your name, with your products, that's also quite a departure, isn't it, from what a lot of sneaker companies have done. They literally just try and get them distributed in as many shops as they can.
Absolutely. And for me, I think because we are not funded by anyone in our business. From the days when we started in Alex, we don't have any investors. We don't have any sort of financial responsibilities to any other institutions. So the idea was to really build an end-to-end value chain that we can fully control, because our mission is about reigniting hope and creating sustainable jobs. So the idea was that if we really own the end-to-end value chain, it means that from the means of production will create employment. When the shoes get to our warehouse, we'll create employment because someone needs to pack it. When we get our own truck, we'll get a driver to drive the truck to deliver our products. When we build our own stores, we will then create employment because people need to sell the shoes in stores. And most importantly, in this era, when a Theo walks in store, we can capture that data, because data is a big thing, and be able to remarket and grow the business. And that's how we wanted to do it, because the minute my value chain breaks and I'm retailing, I don't have control of brand, I don't have control of client, I don't have control of consumer. But if you build value chain, you've got an end-to-end control of brand, of product, of people, of mission, of vision, most importantly of data, because the consumer walks in your store and you can get that data.